Today we're going to be going over chapter 1 of the contractor manual. I'm going to show you everything that I highlighted. I'll let you know if I saw something that was on my test so you guys can underline it and highlight it as well. Before we start, I do recommend buying these gel highlighters from Amazon. They're only about $4. These are the ones that I use in this book. You'll see that in this book, some of the highlights that I did were with the regular highlighter and they just bleed through the pages. Another thing that I did with my book is I put tabs at the bottom. Don't recommend doing that because it's so hard to store now. I can't store it like this anymore because then it will just get it slammed, so I have to store it like that. It's annoying. One thing I also do is I highlight all of my chapters so you can see here. So chapter 1 is highlighted, chapter 2 is highlighted, and I put this little tab as well so I know they're chapters. So this is a chapter, this is a chapter, this is a chapter, this is a chapter. So I do that as well so it's easier for me to scroll through it. So let's get right into chapter 1. Here's chapter 1. In this table of contents, I didn't highlight anything. This one I just kept clean. Some of the other chapters, I do highlight a few things. On page 1.5, we're starting. This is the first highlight I have. Construction is similar to other businesses as it relates to planning, organization, management, and structure. Business plan. Some general guidelines that you can follow when working on your business plans are executive summary, description, research your market, funding, projections. On projections, I have charts and graphs are also good to use in this section. Some questions to consider in this section are, and there's the questions on 1.7, RFPs highlighted first. So if they ask you, what is an RFP? It is request for proposals, business organization. The details of organizing your construction business entails, but is not limited to name, location, structure, workforce, registration, licenses, regulation, tax, finance, leasing, insurance, record keeping, and advertising and marketing. Page 1.8. The SBA notes that business location has an effect on cost regarding items such as salaries, property values, rental rates, business insurance rates, utilities, and government license and fees. Some locations have incentives such as HUB zones and tax credit for small businesses. The type of business organizations that you select depends partly upon, and then we have these. And then sole proprietorship. So here's an example. They might ask you, what is the simplest form of business organization? And it's right here. A sole proprietorship is the simplest form of business organization. Make sure to highlight that. And who is responsible for decisions in a sole proprietorship? The owner manages the business and is responsible for all decisions. Right here, control of the business as well, it says. Sole proprietorship, you have absolute authority over all business decisions. And it has the advantages and then disadvantages here. One thing they might do is they might ask you, what is an advantage of a sole proprietorship? They will have 4 answers. Sometimes it's 3 of these and all of the above. So just choose all above. Or it will be 3 random ones and then just 1 from the list. So you just got to take a look at this list and see which one is on there or which one is not on there. There's the disadvantages as well. We're on page 1.9. Partnership. The Florida Uniform Partnership Act defines as a partnership as 2 or more persons associating themselves as co-owners for the purpose of carrying on a business for profit. A partnership agreement should include, these are all the things that it should include in the contract. There are 2 types of partnership recognized in Florida. This is important right here. A general partnership and a limited partnership. General partnership. Each of the partners are fully and personally liable as co-owners of the business. Limited partnership. A limited partnership is kind of like stocks, multiple ownerships. Has 1 or more limited partners. Is immune from liability for partnership debts beyond the amount of his investment. A limited partner cannot be involved in the management or day-to-day operations of the business. The qualifying business cannot be a limited partner. More passive investors always have at least 1 general partner. So a limited partnership always has 1 general partner. Also, if I don't have something highlighted, that doesn't mean it's not important. Sometimes you will have answers to questions that are not highlighted. We're on page 111. This is joint ventures right here. So joint ventures are by the same rules that govern partnerships. Joint venture is usually limited to a single transaction, and control of the business for the joint venture is the same as a partnership. Corporation. The corporate form of business is usually the costliest to organize. So they might ask, what is the costliest to organize for a business? And it's the corporate form. And these are the advantages of corporation right there, and these are the disadvantages. And then an S corporation. Provisions allow shareholders to absorb all corporate income or losses as partners and reported as individual taxpayers. In essence, the S corporation is not affected by corporation income tax, thereby eliminating the double taxation feature of standard corporations, the election of S corporation. A corporation must meet certain requirements, and I have this requirement highlighted. 20% or more of its revenue must be domestically generated. Control of the business, you have to have 51% to have control of the business. So the following below are points to consider and think about regarding your workforce. There it goes up here too. And then registration. So this is each county requirements to register a business may vary. An occupational license. This is issued by counties and cities. Certificate of occupancy, zoning permits. These are all distributed by your county. This is distributed by the state, Florida General Corporation Act. Fictitious name registration. This is one that they might ask you for. The one that I had in my test was right here. The fictitious name must be advertised, and it will say how many times in a newspaper, and it's one time in a newspaper. And then this is the if change of ownership. Make sure to highlight these ones that I have too. All right, we're going to, this is page 115. DR1 application for certificate of registration, sales tax. You know this probably already, 6% retail sales tax, Department of Revenue. All businesses which collect the sales tax must secure a certificate of registration, sales tax number, from the Department of Revenue. A registration fee is required for Florida business. They might ask you, where do you get a sales tax number from? You get it from the Department of Revenue. Federal tax ID, SS4, EIN number. The form must be filled on or before the 7th day after the date which the business begins. Okay, page 116. I just have this. Qualifying agents. Make sure you learn what a qualifying agent is. They will ask that on the test most likely, and you should know what it is already. However, if a partnership, joint venture, corporation, or any other form of business entity proposes to engage in contracting, it must apply to the Federal Department of Professional Regulations through a qualifying agent. I don't have anything highlighted here. And 120. So some principles, duties of an effective and responsible manager include, but are not limited to, planning, organizing, directing, controlling, standardizing, assigning, and communicating effectively. So they might ask you, what are duties of an effective and responsible manager? And you have here, planning, organizing, directing, controlling, standardizing, assigning, and communicating. So right here is dissolution or termination of business organizations. So when a partnership comes to an end, there are basically 3 steps which it goes through. Dissolution, wind up, and termination. Dissolution, wind up, termination. A partnership is also dissolved by any event that makes it unlawful, the death of any partner, bankruptcy of any partner, a court decree under the Partnership Act. Corporate dissolution and liquidation. 2 types of dissolution should be distinguished: voluntary and involuntary. 3 procedures of the voluntary dissolution of a corporation, and then these 3. And then the most important exceptions are right here, 1 and 2. So this one I have underlined in permit of construction of any structure in or across any navigable waters of the U.S. is responsible of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. or the Florida Department of Environmental Regulations. And then right here, state licensing agency. So who distributes the licensing for the construction? It's the Construction Industry License Board. Forms. So I have forms here. So these are all of the pretty much tax forms here. And then workers' compensation as well. And right here I have that highlighted. These. So I just want to show you an example. If you get a question, what is a Form 940? It's an employer's annual unemployment tax return. But if you get a form question, you want to go to your index. Every time I had a form question, I would do this. Go to your index, go to forms, and you have all your forms right here. It even goes on to the next page. So if I want to know what a 940 is, it takes me to 2 pages, 126 and 3181. So I'll go check 126 first, flip through the book, and I'm going to 126. And right there it tells me what a Form 940 is. Here, I don't have anything highlighted. Don't have anything highlighted here. And now we get into chapter 2. So make sure you guys watch the next video for chapter 2. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment down below. And I have a WhatsApp group chat. I have my phone number down below. If you text me on WhatsApp, I'll add you to the group. It's a bunch of people that are taking their contractor's test now. It could be a roofer, contractor, anything that are studying for the test. So it would be good to talk to people that are also taking the test